This Rich Campbell, just out here kicking it with my man Alan from podcast B&B. Just sitting here talking with the boys, just a general conversation. And we got William Hatcher out here, directing things, just doing a little something since we're out here having a couple drinks. But if you haven't been here, if you haven't experienced the podcast B&B, come through. Makes your life easy. If you've been doing things the old way, you need to just come through here and get everything done professionally for you. But this is it. Watch for our podcast coming out soon, but we're not gonna drop the name yet.
I am father.
Back against the wall, head still high, push through it all. Father am I, lead by example, but still I gotta follow. Value your seeds, let's promise them tomorrow. Forever I stand, it's never to be a bother. Forever I'm man, forever I'm father. Forever I stand, it's never to be a bother. Forever I'm man, forever I'm father.
My name is Alan Irvin, and this is I Am Father. Yeah, so a lot of kids act out because their father wasn't there, and their father wasn't the father they need to be. And I don't blame the father as much because generational curses are strong, because their father wasn't there. So they almost like came up, through Willie Lynch syndrome, fighting and shit. Yeah,
that Willie Lynch thing is real. That's some real shit though.
So we got to start it, and that's what I like about you.
Well, what you got to do, you got to stop it. I mean, you saying start it, you just got to stop whatever that bad pattern was and then do something different. The way, my dad wasn't around, so, I had multiple father figures growing up. And you didn't realize that as I was growing up, but earlier today, me and Tyler, we're just basically talking about that, about all those figures that are around me, and I'm a little bit of all of them. So when I had my boys, and I guess that's why I was blessed with boys, was to, do it differently. So, and
that's that village.
And it's not, trying to conform to a particular construct, but more or less, everything is open to you. All beliefs are open to you. It's your choice to, go one way or another, but just to help them with, identifying what's real and what's some bullshit, and help them, navigate those landmines, because that's all it is. Life is, they say, riddled with landmines and mistakes, and if I've already taken that path, I can kind of help them a little bit to go a little further.
And you ain't gonna be 100%.
I ain't gonna be 100%.
You ain't gonna be perfect, but what you're gonna give them is the foundation you had from your father was at 25%. You started at 25%. They gonna start at 50%.
Right.
So their foundation gonna be stronger.
Oh,
you know
stronger,
what I mean?
Much stronger.
And that's how we building that fatherhood.
It's stronger already. What they've already been able to accomplish, at my age, when I was their age, they've already succeeded or well beyond what I was doing, outside of them. The difference was at Myles' age, I had already had one child. I had him. So that's the only difference. But in terms of career-wise, these guys have made leaps and bounds, and then the other things that I work on, I always include them in, so they're able to, see what it takes to try to reach another level, and not just talk about it, and not just be excited about it, but actually, as Dave Chappelle say, get off the bus and start walking. You can't just stay on the bus. Get off and start walking.
Yeah. So you don't have any kids right now, right?
No.
Right. So that already impacted him enough. He didn't get kids at a young age.
Well,
before he was ready.
Yeah, I don't think that. I don't take that as a good or a bad thing, because everybody at good times. So all I'm saying is, I don't take that as, because who am I to be that critical to someone when my mother was 14 when she had me? You see what I'm saying? So if you took that attitude, then I might not be here, because if my mom and them believed that, then I would have been aborted, and I wouldn't be here. He wouldn't be. And we wouldn't even be having this conversation. So
Rich wouldn't be alive.
Yeah.
If it wasn't for him, because he didn't have. Because Where was the request? Where was he going to think not to do something until he came along?
Oh.
And that's real talk.
Yeah.
Because here's the guy that, you know, I know you recording, but let's call him the director. You producer, that's the director. So let's say the director knew me all my life. He knew the shit we grew up and how we grew up and the things we went through. So, you know, part of the reason for me leaving Philadelphia was to escape that shit. You know, y'all look at Philly right now, Philly murder rate is ridiculous. And that's just a fraction of what it was. We grew up
in Myles in Philadelphia?
No, I had Myles here. I had Myles here. And I brought that Philly mentality thinking down here with me, and it wasn't until I had the first kid that I really started getting out of that mentality and really started seeing, you know, start progressing in certain parts of my life. You know, struggle in some parts, but progressed in other parts. So.
Yeah, that's good stuff, man. Yeah, that's one thing I definitely respect about you. Not only that, you've been, ever since I've known you, you've been on your grind.
Yeah, man.
Focus,
Yeah.
You know? And I've seen you have to take a step back, take 2 steps forward, or take a step back, regroup.
Yeah, I call it pivoting, man. you just pivot. You know what I'm saying? So sometimes, you know, I'm trying to cross over going to the right. Defender might be there. I might have to bring it back to the left and try to go to the goal, you know. It's just you know, you just can't, you know, everything you get upset about things and certain things shouldn't keep you down, because if it keeps you down, then you're going to stay down. So I just keep going. Here's the fear of stopping short and not realizing that the goal line was right there, but I stopped right here. So I got to keep going. Goal line right in front of you. You just don't know exactly when you're going to cross it. And sometimes people give up too early. You know what I mean? They say, well, this is not for me, or I can't be an entrepreneur. I can't. Yeah, you can be anything you want. You just got to keep grinding for it. You just got to keep after it. And if something gets in the way, it's not a problem. It's just a hurdle. It's a challenge. That's it. It's a challenge. What's that challenge? It's a challenge and a hurdle. Hurdle that, beat that challenge, keep it going.
Lauren Hilson.
And they've seen it. They've seen it. I've had all kinds of businesses, man. Some good, some bad. You know what I mean? And that's real talk. If someone sits back and tell you, I hit the lottery as soon as I came on. First business I started, I became Michael Dell. Man, get the fuck out of here, man. Get the fuck out. That's lies. That happens to the 1% of the 1% of the 1%. Everybody else, man, you gotta put in some work.
Yeah, but you gotta stay focused.
And you gotta learn.
And you gotta cut out that outside noise, because that first loss gonna have the outside noise saying shit like, you know, you shouldn't have been doing that anyway. You know you can't do that. Who are you to tell me that? You know, so you gotta cut out that outside noise. You gotta build that intestinal fortitude to keep going. Exactly. Where next time that happens, you ain't even had the right people around you, the wrong people to say that shit.
That's when you start, you know, really navigating your particular circle of friends in life. And you know, you got circles. You got levels to it. So.
You know who needs to be around you.
Right. And the wrong ones, I mean, they're not necessarily wrong, they just don't impact certain parts of your life, and you need to treat it that way. I'm not saying they just impact certain parts of your life. Meaning they could be in the industry, but they may not know everything. I think one person knowing everything about a particular person, you know, it's kind of odd.
And that's what I'm saying. What I'm saying. I think the inner circle is those people that you tell the details, the sensitive, the intimate parts of your life.
Of certain things. Still certain things. You trust certain people with certain things.
Absolutely.
And it's with certain things.
Absolutely.
That's why I say you can have someone in the inner circle that may not know everything about, say, for example, your financial dealings or how you make your money and this, that, and the other. But they may understand the romantic side of your life and the issues that you may be having with your partner or your significant other.
So you gotta know how to navigate.
You just need to know how to navigate that.
Yeah.
So that's a challenge in life in itself. If you tell everybody everything, then shit, everybody got all your business. No, I don't think that's wise.
I get that. No, not at all. Not at all. What's the number one thing you learned from your dad? Just one. I know you got thousands, but give me the number one thing, that thing in your heart that, you know, it just pops out because it's It's part of your heart.
Hey, I got one. I think for the most part, I would say that I take it with everything. When I talk to my friends, I kind of take that same approach. Just excuses is kind of the excuses are the tools of the weak and incompetent.
Those who specialize in them are seldom capable of accomplishing anything.
I tell people that all the time, especially when they tell me that they can't do something. I can't be around. For me personally, I can't be around somebody that complains a lot about certain things and doesn't take the approach to change their situation. Because you can always change your situation.
Absolutely.
Your situation, everybody doesn't grow up the same. Everybody's in different situations, different levels. But at the same time, to get to where you want to go, you can do that. It's possible. It might just be harder, but it's possible. And I think, if you take that approach, I like being around people that love to change their situation, that just because things get tough, they don't look at it like, okay, well, this is the end, or they quit it. They just keep moving forward. And, that's one of the things I've learned from him, for sure, is, just that keep moving forward mentality. And I took an approach with football with me, for my situation, I had to walk on and stuff like that. I almost gave up at one point. I never did in my life, but I was almost to that point to where I did. But he said, hey, look, you chose it. You better deal with it and keep it rolling, because I don't want to hear it. So just keep pushing. I just put my head down and, things just happen. So that's just an example, a little example of, that keep moving forward mentality. And I literally tell that to all my friends and all the people that I'm close to. So.
That's good stuff, man. Yeah, keep moving forward. When you know it's time, then you got something else. You made it to a certain point. Because even I remember when you gave up, not give up, but when you, the word I'm looking for is made a decision to do something else. Then you got to go into like a six-figure job.
Well, it was a six-figure job, but it was kind of the field that I went to school for. So, at some point, it wasn't really giving up on the lead. It wasn't really giving up. It was more so just pivoting to something else. Because you look, as I got older, really looking at the NFL and stuff like that, that's just like, I would want to say a fast start to life. That's kind of really what it is. Because at the end of the day, you can only play for so long, and then after that, depending on what you do with your money, depends on if you actually need a job.
You got to get back.
You got to get back to the workforce, or you get to just be on retirement mode. But that's all depends on the decisions you make. But obviously, I didn't get blessed to continue to play football, and that's okay. That wasn't my path. But my path is obviously to train some of the younger guys, and then also go in business with these knuckleheads. And I honestly, I've enjoyed it because I enjoy my free time. And
you didn't make a decision that it wasn't anymore until you had got to a certain point. So you had that intestinal fortitude driving you in football, and I'm sure that actually extended over to the office.
Yeah, it just eventually it's to the point where it was just out of my hands. So when I got to that point where I've done everything I possibly can and there's nothing else I could do, at some point, you got to live life. You got to make money. You got to come to the realization like, look, this ain't what it is, but I still do other things. I've found other passions.
Go pro or something?
Yeah, I've gone pro. I found other passions. I've done other things that I enjoy.
You took that same drive in football.
Exactly.
Moved it into what you
That's all it is. That's all it is.
But you had to get to a certain point of not quitting so quickly to get all that you need.
Exactly. So you just take that same mentality and approach it. That's why sports, I think, is the best thing that anybody should do. Because you literally, it shows you that drive, that determination, that discipline, and then all you do is apply that to whatever you want to do in life, and they should take you to wherever you want to go.
And that goes the same for coaches.
Yeah.
I mean, I think coaches learn a lot about fatherhood by coaching.
Yeah.
You got a lot of different kids, so you got to learn a lot of different personalities. Well, you and Tyler ain't the same. Y'all got two personalities. So your dad had to make sure to navigate that the right way.
Yeah,
so I think not only coaching, and you're right, sports, coaching and athletes, because you got to learn patience as a coach.
Yeah.
Tyler might be wild off the chain, you might be calm, so you got to be patient.
It might be reversed, but yeah.
No reverse, but yeah, that is no reverse.
So your dad learned patience, you learn patience.
Yeah.
I mean, so I think sports, man, and that's why I would tell any single dad or even single mom, you got to keep, especially boys, you got to keep boys active.
I keep them active, man.
You got to keep them into something.
Yeah, you got to keep them active. You got to keep them active, keep them interested, because they didn't know what it was like to not have sports until after college.
Yeah. And I still play.
And they still play flag and everything
football.
else. Train the younger brothers.
So we just found a new passion. We getting into snowboarding. So I mean, it's just it's a bunch. Yeah, it's a bunch of different things out there. You just gotta find something you like doing.
So did your dad have to pay for college?
I think the first year, but other than
y'all
that,
had scholarships the whole way.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
I was there for 5 years. I had it before.
Right there.
Yeah.
Word. Say less.
That's what I'm saying.
But I will say I knew he was investing when he sold his car. I was like, yo, I got you. Just go get a scholarship. You can. Hey, fastest person to get it. Got it in a year.
Oh yeah, so I was like, yeah,
got it in a year. I would have got it faster than that. It's just the fact that the coach changed. So, that's basically starting all over again.
Yeah, definitely.
So,
but he got it. He got it though. But we had it covered though.
That's something that was in his heart to do. I told my son, because he wanted a car, I was like, look, you're going to get a car. We just can't go rush and get it right now. There's some things lining up. But I would take a second job. I even thought about taking a second job just to pay for that car because I wanted to have it. He got a full ride. He ain't paying for school. He ain't asking for nothing.
You know what I mean?
You know what I'm saying? I can at least get him what he wants.
Yeah.
And I'm going to do that.
Yeah.
I have this thing about not being anxious to get it. I like the shit to fall where it's supposed to fall, and I see it in a lot of different ways. I actually saw it, because he was starting at Nebraska, and I was like, okay, he's gonna get this NIL. So everybody because they got like 14 players out there in Nebraska that's riding around in free cars.
Yeah,
they leasing them out on their NIL.
Yeah.
I was like, that's gonna be the way. Didn't happen that way.
Yeah.
But it's still just be patient.
Patient.
It's gonna work out.
For sure.
Yeah.
Just be patient.
But yeah, man, you've been consistent. You know what I'm saying? The other thing that surprised me, I didn't know that you didn't know your real dad till like 27.
27.
Yeah, I didn't know. That was a shock.
That's a trip to get that phone call.
Oh, he called you?
Yeah, I got a phone call. My aunt called me first and said, Dad been trying to get in touch with you. And then he called. And I was in Jamaica, a couple weeks later.
He called you from Jamaica?
Called from Jamaica.
Mm-hmm. How old was he?
That time I was 27. He probably was like 56, 46, something like that.
Do you know why he decided to make that call?
Yeah, but that's not something I want to do.
Okay.
That's not something I'm put on tape though. Yeah, I kind of got an idea, but that's kind of what I really can't change that. It took a long time to get to the point where I realized you just can't change that. There's nothing I can do for it. I just got to take it for who he is right now. So I love him right now. That's my guy.
What's the one thing? Because I know he's you learned a lot from him. But what's the one thing that since you've been back in his life that you learned from him as far as intestinal?
I know what you're going, but I don't know if I learned it or if it was just inherent that I just have this particular drive and the ability to just kind of drive through things. And I don't want to use the word survivor because that makes it seem like it's apocalyptic, but able to survive certain parts of hardships in lives and things of that nature. You know what I'm saying? Just doing what needs to be done to get to where you need to get to. And I think I learned. I realized that who I got that from. My passion for things and my willingness to endure certain things, kindness and all that stuff I got from my dad is a passion to continue to drive forward and not to just settle, to see it and actually try to go and grab it and get it, but go and get it softly and not to hurt anybody in the path that I'm trying to do. So
I know that's pretty valuable for you. I always say, man, listen, fatherhood starts at conception, and it's not that you don't need to start that at conception, but I feel like some people that pick up fatherhood at 10 years old, 20 years old, for your dad, it's was 50 something, I guess.
Well, not necessarily. I mean, I I was a kid that was born out of wedlock, and my mother happened to move to a different country. So circumstances are just, you just don't know what the circumstances were. You know what I'm saying? So my mother was young. He had my grandfather there as well. So of course he's very protective of his, daughters or what have you. So, things happen.
Yeah.
So you can hold it against somebody, or
and that's what I'm trying to say.
You can just kind of let it go and make it easy, because it's real hard to just be mad at a motherfucker for forever. This is really hard.
Let it go.
It feels a whole lot better to just let it go, bro. Let me tell you, it does. It does feel a lot better, because I was really on the mad side for a while. Now it's just, it is what it is. Yeah. So I just kind of let it go.
And you really just never know, man. Like my dad, because parents are human too.
Oh yeah, without a doubt.
Yeah, absolutely. But my dad, he wasn't really there for me like that. He was there, but he wasn't there. He didn't throw the football with me.
Right.
But I've always loved it. So I know it's really, the dad got to do something like crazy, stupid for you to be crazy at it.
Yeah, you gotta really do something crazy like that.
But middle of my 12th grade year, I transferred from one city to another to stay with my dad. And even then, I mean, he was there, but he didn't come to my games, but he loved me enough to bring me back in. But I don't think he knew how to really be that father, because my grandfather really wasn't that father to me.
Right.
So that's why I like the fact that.
But then you just do the opposite.
Yeah. And the opposite sometimes can be good or bad.
Because I mean, growing up, I don't remember, my mom or, my stepdad who was around. I don't coming to no games, to gymnastics, football, nothing.
Yeah,
I don't have a recollection.
That taught you indirectly.
I don't have any recollection of that. And I can count the number of games I've missed between the three of them.
Absolutely.
Literally. I can literally count the games.
Here.
You know what I mean?
Here.
So, I mean, of course, when both of them in college, you navigating, same schedules and everything. But I remember one weekend, I was at his game on a Thursday night. I was at
my game,
his game, and Ethan's game. Dude, I was bouncing from Ohio to back to here to Buford game, and then back to then to Auburn. They ain't have a hotel room, and then flew back and then drove back. Come on, so you just do what you got to do, and that's fun. Now we in grind mode now. So our business and things we doing, so we just in grind mode right now. We got it's just Ethan. Now Mikey graduating, he beasting. You know what I mean? He on autopilot, so
he is on autopilot.
He on autopilot.
He done learned from you. He done learned from you. He done seen it. He done been games.
Ethan was on the field. These dudes was playing. He in his stroller. So in the basketball gym, sitting on the side at the end of the bench, he was like the seventh man. Ethan was like the seventh man coming off the bench. He too.
Ethan like Dwayne Wade.
Right.
Dwayne Wade look to both his older brothers and be like, that's how I got good.
Yeah.
I had the ball against them.
Yeah. Yeah, hit him out, not just mine. I don't even yell at him no more. I just let them just kind of do it. So.
And that's what I was talking to somebody the other day, and I was like, look, man, I'm too tired to raise my boy.
You know what I mean?
I don't even want to whoop no more ass.
Right.
I mean, every now and then I'll go in the room with the belt around my neck.
Yeah, just
I ain't got time for that, man. I call Quincy and Gabe. So look, y'all need to talk to y'all brother, because you do not want to get me mad.
Right.
He don't want the green to come out of me.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. But that's good stuff, man. That's good stuff. So what you doing now?
It's a cannabis technology company called Kenosha Tech. Team of 5 right now. I have one product out called Kenosha Verified, which is a cannabis license aggregator, essentially. And so we have that. And
man, is that like data mining? You like aggregating the data?
Essentially, yeah. We mine the data from the governing authorities in the legal states. whether that's recreational and medical or just medical, and then pull that together, normalize it, and then
What do you mean by normalizing?
just on a state-by-state basis, you know, the same field that you're looking at might return different values, like a license status in one state might say, you know, active, a license status in another state may say, you know, active pending some type of investigation.
Or approved, for example.
Or approved. And essentially approved and active could be the same thing. So just normalizing so you can get a true apples to apples comparison from state to state, territory to territory, country to country.
Because the laws and regulations make it look different.
A little different. So when you have like a what you call an MSO, and your MSO is a multi-state operator, and they're of course operating in multiple states at one time. Say for example, you're trying to do any type of evaluation of that particular company, you can pull those records and find out what all states that they're operating in, pull those things into one area, run reports on those particular license history, and use the data in any type of matter that you need. Maybe they own real estate, and you need to be able to tie the license, the active license, back to that real estate in order to evaluate that real estate. Or if you're in a B2B type marketplace, you may need to compare to ensure that when I'm doing a transaction from this business to this business, that both of these entities are active or have active license at the date and time of that transaction. So that way now your compliance, you're always on top of that. So it's multiple things. In insurance, you use it for risk mitigation. Banking, you use it for compliance, regulation, not having to actually take a physical document from someone, but you can actually get a third-party evaluator to give you that information to ensure that your companies that you have or that are banking at your facility or your institution are licensed at the time that they're banking.
All right. You know what? We tired as yo. What do you tell your sons about messing with these bitches? That's what dads are here for.
That's
It's hard out there.
It's hard out these streets, boy. It's hard out these streets. Hey, look, I really don't we really don't get into that too much. They know what they need to do, and I don't want to have to say MOB, but it's MOB, man. Until you get to a certain age, I'm reverse of MOB now, but for them, it's a Scarface kind of mentality. Do what you got to do right now. You love along the way, and people are going to be around you, and you'll be able to navigate who's really there for you and who's really there just for the ride and just for the fun of it. And just choose wisely and don't have your eyes closed. Someone shows you who they are, believe them motherfuckers. Don't make no excuses for somebody. If your mind telling you that they fucking crazy, then in your mind they fucking crazy, and you leave that shit alone. Period.
That business sounds great, man.
Yeah.
It sounds. Well, I like niches. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Niches and being able to grab something before it's really saturated. And that's what I feel like you guys did.
Yeah, and the nature, and it's not an easy work. What we do is not easy, and the way we go after things.
You're blazing the trail,
and we're spearheading it. There's a lot of data companies out there, a lot of people mining, a lot of people getting a lot of data from different places, and we're just at the early stages of figuring out how to use that data to better the industry and set that industry up for success, and just being able to be a part of that without being in without having to actually touch the plants itself.
Yeah, I mean, if I was in that space, I would be doing the same exact thing.
You know what I mean? So
yeah. Because I've been in technology over 30 years, man, and I'm like, well,
yeah, bro. When you sit back and think about it, me too. Man. You sit back and think about it, it's a long time, bro.
Yeah, it's been
87 since 87 for me, so it's been a minute.
Yeah, but you see different trends. You see, like when Office 365 came out, people started popping the small businesses there. You know, Microsoft and 97% of these large corporations. So if you follow them, they follow something new. You jump on.
But it's just technology, and with technology, so you just kind of, you know, there's a lot of stuff out there. It's not just Microsoft, but there's a lot of technology out there, and a lot of opportunity out there too for people of color to get in the industry, and it doesn't have to be plant touch. You know, there's a real push right now with the social equity programs in a couple of different states, which I think is a great, you know, move to try to level the playing field, because the level of entry for, you know, plant touch is expensive. But why do that when there's other, you know, there are other avenues to take advantage of to be in the industry within itself. So, you know.
Yeah, I mean, I would be in that space. Yeah, it sounds good.
So
all that part of it sounds like a little sports car or whatever.
Yeah,
yeah. But I'd be in that same space, man. I would be looking along those lines.
Yeah.
I remember your first gig when you actually, you know, had invested in the whole
plant
touching and growing.
Yeah, man. That was a year worth of work.
My mindset then was creating a website. I remember I was asking you about it. I was like, man, what can we do on a software basis?
Yeah.
But to be able to put all that together, that's where I'll be.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of software firms popping up now that kind of specialize in the space. A ton of them. There's a lot of, you know, just to see, just from when I started getting into the industry to where, you know, going to the conventions, going to the conferences, and just seeing where it is now, and all of the products, all of the services that are now just geared to that industry. Banks now showing up at these conferences, setting up booths where you didn't have banks before. Small community banks seeing the opportunity and say, listen, we can catch up with the national banks by just investing in our own community and taking money from,
and that's the beauty. That's the beauty of where this industry is right now. Just jumping in so early. You're naturally gonna grow because the industry growing.
Yeah.
So if you jump in now, by the time the industry plateaus, shoot, you know, you can be running some shit.
Plateau is like 15, 20 years down the road.
Exactly.
Yeah. So when you say there's a lot of software companies, yes and no.
Yeah.
Because it's going to be in 15, 20 years.
There's space for everybody to eat right now.
It's the creative niches. You got to, at this point, you're creating something.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That don't exist.
Yeah.
Like Podcast B&B. You know, you got to find stuff that do not exist in that space. And it's going to fill a need.
But gentlemen, real booty or fake? What? Y'all living on
want me to answer for real. They want the real deal. They want the real deal.
Same thing when it comes to everything. You gotta work for it. We want the easy way out.
Like that real.
Yeah. We gotta answer that.
Hey, real ain't going nowhere.
Exactly.
When I went off to college, my uncle told me, he was like, look, man, go get down here, you get your grade, get your degree, right? Pussy ain't going nowhere, right? So I went through all college, pussy was there. You know, I graduated from college, pussy was there, got married, pussy, look, divorced, pussy's still here. You gotta go ahead and get what you gotta get to get to the other side.
Hey, but you know what they say in the A?
What's that?
If you miss one, girls are like buses. If you miss one, wait long enough, the next one comes.
And you ain't gotta move just
You ain't gotta move, you just stay in the same spot. Just look down the street. It's coming, you can see it.
Yeah.
Just gotta be patient. Drink your glass of Hennessy. It's coming.